So lockdown day number 3, and it is time to get some of the equipment out. So today I've got my suspension trainer, I've got my resistance bands, I've got an ab roller, and I've got my press up doohickeys, whatever these are called. Now with all this equipment, I'm going to be doing a range of exercises throughout the whole body. So we're going to focus mainly on arms today, just to really get that nice deep burn, and we're going to end up on core. So let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the suspension trainer. One of the best things about this is that you can use it for loads of different exercises. So at the moment, we're just going to get everything warmed up by doing some rows. Really simply, down like this, up against the wall, lean back, nice and tight like this, and it's going to roll upwards. Lovely stuff. Now if you want to increase the difficulty, just lower it down, create more of an angle for yourself. Essentially, the bigger the angle, the more difficult the exercise. Right, next we're going to move on to some light arm stuff. Now I've got my resistance bands here. I'm just going to do some bicep curls with these, and then I've got my other resistance bands hooked on this door to do some tricep extensions. So we'll give those a go. Now, one thing about transitioning from heavy weights at the gym to resistance bands is you'll find resistance bands are a lot easier. Even if I did add more resistance on by putting the bands together, I will still find the initial movement as such a lot easier than I will, let's say, doing a tricep extension on the cable pull. So with that in mind, I'm obviously able to do a lot more reps, so I'm going to. Obviously over the lockdown, if we are going originally from a gym to some of the stuff that you're doing now, then my recommendation would be just do as much as you can for a set, just around about, I'd say 80 to 90% of your max repetitions. So for example, I just did 20 on these. I would normally only go up to 10 at the gym. I could go up to 20 on those quite comfortably. Probably get to around about 24, 25 until I'd have to stop. So with that in mind, I'm going to do sets of 20. With these, however, because you can change the angle and you can use your own body weight to your advantage, if I wanted to work at the same sort of rep range that I do at the gym, all I have to do is just find the angle that works for me, try and get to that rep range, and if I still feel I've got about 2 or 3 left in the tank, then that'll be perfect. To failure, of course. But I digress. We're going to do some bicep curls using suspension trainers, and this is essentially how easy these things are to use. So I'm just going to unclip it, put it back to the top, if it lets me. And I'm just going to lean back just once again. I'm going to use these to curl myself. Now, one challenging aspect of this particular exercise is trying to isolate the movement of the biceps. You're using a lot of core strength to keep you stable in the position you're going to be laying in. So I'm using a lot of core right now just to hold myself here. Now what I'm not going to try and do is bring myself in for that bicep curl. What I'm going to try and do is keep my elbows locked out in the same position, and I'm not going to do any sort of movement like this. I'm simply going to be doing this. This makes it very, very hard to grasp first try. But I've done this a few times. You just want to work yourself in like this. And even then, I find that around about 5 would be a good set for me, simply because I'm not used to this kind of movement for bicep curls. I'm used to standing, bicep curling like this, or sitting down and doing alternate biceps, or even using the cable machines to do hammer curls with the ropes. That's what I'm used to. So this is a new exercise for me, and it's going to take me a while to get used to. Now I can decrease the difficulty as such by putting this even further up. But right now what I want to do is just do a lot of the sets on the resistance bands, ultimately work on this method of training until I can get more comfortable with it. But there's no shame in admitting that you're not good at a certain exercise, particularly if you've not tried it that much before. This is a brand new piece of equipment for me. I don't normally use it in the gym. I don't use it for my clients, but I think after this lockdown and this particular learning curve, I might be implementing it into my own and my clients' workouts as well. So we'll give this another go and see how this feels. That's about it. It's a difficult exercise, but that's all it is. It's one big learning curve. Now, moving on to some chest press, but we're just doing press ups because we don't have a bench and we don't have any weights. So we make do with what we have. So I'm going to give these a go. I'm going to get to about 15 of these per set. I usually do 20. I did 20 in the last video, but because I did those in the last video, having trained chest in the gym not too long ago, I'm going to go relatively light because I'm going to focus mainly on arms today. But there's no harm in attacking other aspects of the body, particularly when you're not overworking yourself with heavy weights. So let's get at this. So, we're going to be doing this for a circuit. We'll do bicep curls, more bicep curls, tricep extension, and press ups. We're going to do that for about another 3 or 4 more sets, and then we're going to go on to some core stuff. Now, in the previous video, we did sit-ups and leg raises to target the upper and lower parts of the abdomen. However, this session is going to be more focused on the eccentric contractions by doing those ab rollers. Ab rollers are a fantastic way to completely stretch out and rip apart your abdomen. And if I had something to hang on to put my whole body weight on, at the moment I'm sitting around about 80 kilograms, then I would, but as I'm sitting at 80 kilograms, I don't want to break the door by putting my full body weight on it. Right, so I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse. I'm going to be carrying on with this workout, and then we're going to really kick it into gear when it comes to core.
You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. I don't wanna follow. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. I don't wanna follow. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. I don't wanna follow. I just wanna have some fun. give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. So I don't pay no mind, no. I don't wanna fall in love. I just wanna have some fun, yeah. I don't wanna fall in love. I just wanna have some fun.
Done. Now, having done biceps, triceps, and some chest as well, like I said, mainly focusing on arms, it is now time to do our core workout. So, usually I use a mat for this, but I've got some padded wheels on the roller, so that's okay. I am going to get a towel for my knees though, or just use a cushion, whatever you have at home, and let's get into it. So, we're doing core, I've just trained, arms still a little bit tight, but doesn't matter, we're just gonna use our ab roller. We're gonna, like I said, use those eccentric contractions to really pull apart the muscles. After this, I'm gonna go back onto the suspension trainer and work on some twist exercises and some core exercises that really target the obliques down the sides there, just because I think that those get a little bit neglected quite easily. You know, when you're doing sit-ups, when you're doing leg raises, you're working down the frontal plane as such, and I want to get some lateral movements in as well. So we're going to be doing those. But for now, let's crack on with this.
You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no.
Given the fact that I've just done arms, when I get to there, my triceps start twinging a little bit. So, you know, maybe give it a little bit of a rest before we go straight into it. I've not actually given myself enough time just to let myself cool down. But I'm feeling good, my core feels nice and strong. I've got no problems with any of this down here during the exercise. It's just all up here at the moment. But we'll carry on, we'll progress. We'll do as many as we can in sets of 8 to 10. I'll see if I can get about 4, maybe 5 sets out. And then we're going to go on to the suspension training. Let's crack on.
I just wanna have some fun.
One thing I find, particularly with ab rollers, is the temptation as such to bring your hips back first and then the front of your body. It's quite high because it takes off that pressure. For example, if I give you like a bad demonstration of, a good demonstration of what not to do. If I went down like this, and if I brought my hips back first and then brought myself up, I'm taking that activation out of my core. So you've got to really focus on going down and coming back together at the same time. And that really keeps that nice, tight activation in your abs. It doesn't hurt that. I'm going to get 2 more sets out. I'm going to push for a 5th, but I'm not overly convinced I'm going to make it to 5 complete sets. We'll get at least 3. We'll see how 4 goes. And if 4 goes well, then we'll move on to the last one. Three sets down, really starting to feel this. The thing is about these kind of contractions is earlier on I did a video of doing like a seal pose to stretch out the abs after you've like crunched or maybe sit-ups or your leg raises, in which you do this and you arch up. But the thing is with this is that because all of the tearing happens at that eccentric contraction, you start doing that, it just hurts again. So really, for me, the best way to recuperate between sets whilst doing ab rollers is to just stand up nice and tight like this and just let your abdomen relax here. I don't want to kind of sit on it because I kind of want to keep my heart rate up a little bit. So I just want to keep myself nice and straight like this on my knees is fine. You can stand up if you want. But yeah, let's get into this 4th set. And depending on how this goes, we'll push for a 5th. So I can feel form going a little bit there. And this set particularly, a couple in the last set I think, I wasn't going deep enough, or I was sacrificing the contraction by bringing my hips back first, just about half a second. So I think for me, I would say that 3 sets of 10 would be my working set, and then anything beyond that would be literally just be trying to improve a little bit. But as far as that goes, I'm pretty happy with doing those 4 sets. I was happy with the majority of those of each rep there. I'm gonna push for 5, see if I can get up to 10. We'll just see how we go. I'll give myself a couple more seconds just to recuperate, recover.
You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no. You don't give me time, you just waste my time. I don't pay no mind, no.
Right, that's it for ab rollers. Oh, I'm officially dead. Those are not my strong suit when it comes to core exercises. I'm pretty good at sit-ups, leg raises, you know, Russian twists, all that kind of good stuff. But ab rollers, for all intents and purposes, are one of the best exercises, and I think one of the reasons why is because they're so difficult to do. Just eccentric contractions in general are the ones that really tear apart your muscles and are going to be, you know, harder than any concentric. But dead cheap and super beneficial, particularly when you don't have any equipment that you don't want to use in the gym. But yeah, let's move on to the suspension trainer and we'll do some core workouts with that. Let's go. So we're going to be doing some leg raises, but horizontal. Using the suspension trainer on a door prevents you from doing certain exercises that you would use if you had a railing and it was suspending yourself from that. Given the fact that you don't have any kind of swing motion as you would if it was fixed to a single point, you gotta make do. So these ones are a little awkward, but essentially they're one of the reasons why suspension trainers are fantastic. You can work your legs, your core, your arms, your back, your chest, your shoulder. You can do literally everything with suspension trainers. So let's get into it. Now, here's one set. So, we're doing leg raises and then we do them alternate. With one set, we're doing 4 of those. I'm not going to push for a 5th. I'm really starting to feel it there. I don't want to damage anything.
I just wanna have some fun, yeah. I just wanna have some fun.
Right. So I'm gonna window. We're gonna call it a day. Nice little arm workout, followed up by just a blitz on the core. Nothing too crazy. I did sit-ups and leg raises the day before, but just a little bit of core, I think every single day, every single workout is going to be really, really beneficial. Try and keep the weight off the gut as such with the amount of, you know, excess time I have. It normally means that I sit down and I realise that I'm bored, and you know, boredness leads to hunger, and hunger leads to overeating. So, because like I said, the weather is super, super nice today, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm just going to clear my head, and then I'm going to come back home and then be super productive for the rest of the day. And so anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back in a couple of days with another video. Peace.